Dark Shadows number 12-66. VTR 62866, Air 71266, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The night wind batters the house on Widow's Hill with the force of 1,000 demons. There's no world beyond, it seems, only the waves and the wind, and the terrible loneliness of fear. I've decided to stay and continue my search, and yet there have been no answers.
Mr. Collins, you nearly frightened me to death.
Perhaps that was my intention, Miss Winters.
That's not even funny.
I saw you come down here. I want to talk to you. Sit down. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
Aren't you cold?
Yes, but I'm used to it. You grow up in this place, Miss Winters, you get used to many things.
You said you wanted to talk to me. What is that sound?
The wind. Or the widows.
Widows.
Yes, you hear them? They're moaning with grief as they have for hundreds of years.
Don't they ever get tired?
It's not a joke, Miss Winters. Haven't you ever wondered why this place is called Widow's Hill?
Frankly, no. Such a frightening sound.
Unhappy, mournful, the agony of restlessness. They used to walk this hill, the widows. They would walk and stand and look out at the sea and wait for the ships to return. They would wait for husbands that would never come back. The hours and the days would pass, and there would be no masthead over the horizon. No sail, just emptiness, loneliness, and grief. And then even that was taken from them.
What do you mean?
Well, almost 150 years ago, when Jeremiah Collins decided to build our house, he chose this hill, the highest point in Collinsport. They were no longer permitted here. All of the wives and sweethearts of the sailors on Jeremiah's ships were turned away, sent back to their homes, told to keep their grief to themselves.
How terrible.
They haven't gone, Miss Winters. They never left.
But that is only the wind.
Is it? Listen. Listen carefully.
If you're trying to make me nervous, you're doing very well.
There are old men in town who swear they've seen them, roaming the top of this hill in a high wind, crying bitterly, staring out to the sea with empty eyes.
That's only a legend.
Legends aren't real, Miss Winters. But we do have our ghosts up here, and they are very real.
I'm afraid I don't believe that.
You've only been with us for a short time. Wait. You won't believe it.
I think I'll go in.
Oh, they cry, Miss Winters, but they won't harm you. Not you. You're my son's governess, not a member of the family. Did you meet any strangers up here today?
Beg pardon?
Someone who was looking for me?
Oh, yes. So much has happened since then I'd almost forgotten.
He gave you a message for me, didn't he?
He wouldn't even tell me his name. Just Sam, that's all. And to tell you he was looking for you.
Are you sure that's all?
Yes. It does sound frightening, doesn't it?
The ghosts of the past are always frightening, Miss Winters.
Why, Pop? Why?
Maybe it's because I'm tired, Maggie. Maybe it's because in the morning I can't look in the mirror anymore and say, Sam, it's a wonderful world. You should be glad you're in it.
But, Pop, to think of moving away from Collinsport, that doesn't make any sense.
It makes more sense than staying here and giving more torture to you.
Torture? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous.
Maggie, do you want to see me dead?
What are you talking about?
You better go back to work.
Does this have anything to do with Roger Collins?
No, of course not. Why do you ask?
I don't know. Just the way he was chasing around looking for you.
Collins lives in a fine house on top of a hill. I'm just a tired artist who drinks too much. What possible connection could there be?
I don't know. Pop, what is it? Why are you so afraid?
Maggie. Dolly, I love you. I love you more than anything in the whole world.
It stopped.
What?
The sound.
The widows have gone back to wherever.
You mean the wind has died down?
As you wish.
Was there anything else?
About the man on the hill this morning? No. Unless there's something else you haven't told me.
Well, there is something. After he told me to tell you he was looking for you, he made me promise not to tell anyone else.
I see. And did you keep that promise?
Yes. Actually, so many other things happened since then, I didn't have time to think about it.
Like having coffee with Burke Devlin? You see, Miss Winters, I do know about it.
Well, it was an accident. He was having coffee in the hotel, and I stopped in to make a telephone call. Why should I apologize for having coffee with Mr. Devlin?
Oh, I didn't know that I'd ask for an apology. I'm merely fascinated by the fact that you did meet him, especially after our last conversation on the subject.
Mr. Collins, is it possible that you're mistaken about the man?
I don't think so.
He certainly seems pleasant enough.
Are you in the habit of making total judgments on the basis of one cup of coffee?
No.
Miss Winters, I told you last night, and I'll tell you again. He's a dangerous man. If he seemed pleasant, as you said, then it's a tactic. Devlin hates me and my family, and he's come back to town for only one purpose.
But why? Why does he want to harm you?
He did ask for me, didn't he?
Yes.
What did he want to know?
How you'd reacted when you found out he'd come back.
What did you tell him? That I was terrified, brave, unconcerned?
I didn't answer him. I told him he ought to ask you that himself.
And did he say he would?
Yes.
Sam, that won't help. Burke, Devlin, Collinwood, nothing will help.
Pop.
What are you doing home from work? You've got a lot of work to do.
Pop, I can't let you do it.
I'm gonna pack.
Where will you go?
I'll take one step at a time. First, I'll get away from here. Then I'll find out where I'm going.
But why, Pop? Why? This is your home here. You have your studio, your paint.
Maggie, believe me, it's better for you and for me if I walk out of that door and never return.
But what's happened?
Whatever it is, it won't affect you.
How can you say that? Pop, do you remember something you once told me? I never forgot it. It was right after Mom died. The world is full of pain and unhappiness, but you and I can hold off as long as we stand together. Now, how can you say that it won't affect me?
Honey, that's why I have to leave. Because maybe it'll keep you away from this pain and unhappiness.
What do you think I'm made of, cotton candy? Pop, if you're in trouble, maybe I can help you.
Maggie,
Pop, we used to be so close. And then it changed. Everything. Everything.
Maggie, it was me. It wasn't you.
We used to be able to talk to each other, no matter what was on our mind. What happened to you, Pop? Why did it have to change?
Because, Maggie, there are things that just can't be said. Can't be faced.
You made a remark, Burke Devlin seems pleasant enough. Well, that attitude can be dangerous to me. You meant what you said. Miss Winters, you work for us, for my sister, for me. You are a member of a household that is moving closer and closer to a struggle with this pleasant Mr. Devlin. We'll have difficulties enough without becoming vulnerable through you.
All I did was have coffee with the man.
And talk. He's a clever man, Miss Winters, and you've no way of knowing when things you repeat in innocence can be of help to him.
Well, what do you want me to do? Cross the street when I see him?
I want you to go back to New York. Go back home.
Just because I spoke with
There's
Burke
going to be a brutal struggle, I know it. And no one who lives at Collinwood will be untouched.
He's not going to murder all of us, is he?
It won't be the first violent death on this hill. Go back home, Miss Winters. Go back before you're unable to. Go home.
Carolyn, we're down here.
Vicky, is that you?
Yes, we're on a ledge.
What are you two doing here?
Oh, we're just
Planning a suicide pact?
having a little talk, kitten. What's up?
Mother wants to see you. She's in the drawing room.
Is it important?
I think so. Yes, it's very important.
Remember what I told you.
What was that all about?
Burke Devlin.
Oh, that's interesting. Burke Devlin is with my mother right now. In the drawing room.
Hello?
Is Mr. Evans there?
Yes, just a minute. Pop, it's for you. He'll be right with you.
Hello?
Evans, I want to see you.
What about?
Devlin, what do you think?
Look, I can't talk to you now.
I think it might be a good idea if you got out of town.
Look, I can't talk to you now.
Who was that?
Please, now, Maggie, leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
It was Roger Collins, wasn't it?
Maggie, please, leave me alone. I said leave me alone now.
I recognized his voice. He is connected with this, isn't he? Isn't he? I want to know what you're so afraid of.
I said I was sorry.
Okay, Pop. Okay. So you're sorry. But that doesn't answer my question. It was Roger Collins, wasn't it?
No.
Then who? Pop, answer me. I used to be so proud of you. I used to tell everyone that my Pop was the greatest man on the face of the earth. He knew more than Einstein. He could paint better than Michelangelo, braver than Daniel.
It's easy to be brave when you're not in the lion's den.
Who is this lion, Pop? Is it Burke Devlin?
Please, Maggie, please stop asking questions.
But Pop, what do you want me to do? Pretend I don't love you? I'm not very good at that.
Oh, Maggie.
Pop, you weren't this frightened before Burke Devlin came back to town. And then so much started happening. Roger Collins suddenly so anxious to see you. Pop, it just goes round and round in my head.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All these years of wondering. Then it was Roger Collins and Burke.
Maggie, please don't.
When you changed. When you suddenly became, I don't know, different. I was only a kid, Pop, but I remember what was happening at the time.
That has nothing to do with it, Maggie.
Things like a man getting killed, and Burke going to prison, and Roger Collins coming back here to live.
Maggie, I said that has nothing to do with any of this.
Then what does? Why are you running away?
Maggie, I can't tell you. It's too late for that.
How far are you going to run?
Maggie.
And how long?
Maggie, I don't know.
Okay, Pop. Okay. But I'll only ask one more question. Whatever it is, whatever is tearing you apart, do you really think that you can get away from it?
No.
Okay, Pop. We stand together. You and I. We'll lick 'em all. I'm willing to take my chances if you are.
Maggie,
Yes?
put the phone back on the hook.
Don't you know anything about why your Uncle Roger gets so upset over Burke Devlin?
Nope.
What about the caretaker? Do you think he'd know?
Matthew? He knows everything. He might even be able to answer some of your questions.
I've tried. He's not very friendly.
The understatement of the year. Why don't you try him again? His cottage is right through the trees, only about 100 yards away.
I know. Maybe you're right.
Go ahead. He's been here longer than I have. If anybody knows anything, it's him. Uncle Roger, I thought you were in the drawing room.
No, I have to go to town, kitten. Someone I have to see.
But what about Mother? Did you talk to her?
No, it can wait.
But it's important.
So is this.
But Burke Devlin's in there with her. He's anxious to see you. He really seems like a very nice person.
Did you bring him here?
Yes.
How could you?
I wanted to help. I'm sure.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows has been a Dan Curtis production.